7:07 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. And good morning to your friends. Hope you are doing well. And welcome on in to a Tuesday, September 9th. Now, Senator Marsha Blackburn, she's going to be joining us at 7:35. Looking forward to that conversation. I've got a lot to get to in this segment. We are talking about the murder of that Ukrainian refugee in North Carolina. I want to highlight something that happened this was on News Nation last night. You have a crazed leftist, and she's clearly a leftist and crazed. You know how I can tell? Because if you're watching on Super Talk TV, she's got the weird glasses. And so what have we always said when you're seeing somebody nuts? Weird glasses and oftentimes a weird haircut. So, but there's talking about the nuclear family. And, of course, everyone knows the murderer, the alleged murderer in this case, DeCarlos Brown, is black. And so this went down on News Nation with Liz Wheeler and a leftist, a crazed leftist. Now, for Liz Wheeler, she is a conservative, and she started talking about the impact of the dissolving of the nuclear family, not only in America, but she also highlighted what is happening in the black community. Listen.
What is the brokenness of the nuclear family, the brokenness of the black family, the fact that black fathers are absent, that young black men turn to drugs and gangs.
How dare
and by the way,
well, the
this
family,
is also
I
true
think the
for
family
the
in general you can point to. I don't know that
Minnesota.
one race over the other works.
This is also true for the murderer who killed the two young children, a white man.
Well, I don't understand why this woman is so upset about Liz Wheeler, who, and by the way, part of what her ire has to be, this Democrat, they're calling her a Democrat socialist, Nina Turner, is Liz Wheeler, blonde hair, I don't know, looks like blue-eyed, whatever it is, and this woman, this Democrat socialist, Nina Turner, is just really upset that Liz Wheeler talked about the problems in the black family and the broken homes in the black community. I mean, this is a problem that we have all known has been going on for years with not only the nuclear family, but it is pronounced in the black community. I've got receipts coming up.
Will you listen to what I'm saying? I literally said the broken nuclear family, both black families and white families. That murderer.
Right. You singled out black families, but if you're saying all families, it's a different point.
It's especially evident in the black community, but it is also true that when fathers are absent, that young men are more likely to commit.
I'll put you guys on a text thread.
Put us together.
If
you're open to that, Liz, I'm open to it.
I'll put you together. Liz is open to conversation.
Let's do it.
Well, so Nina needs to be schooled. Nina needs to be red-pilled. 67%. Listen to this. U.S. Census Bureau shows that the percentage of kids in single-parent households in the black community, 51 to as high as 67% within the black community. I don't know why this is controversial, except that it's true. I mean, it's sad, but just naming the statistics like Liz Wheeler was doing, why is this leftist Nina Turner losing her mind over simple facts? Now, the families within the black community that are together, absolutely, I'm sure there's a lot of love, obviously. And if you are a part of that single family within the black community, I'm sure that whatever single parent you have, also there's a lot of love. But it is a fact that the percentage of kids in single-parent households is 51 to 67% within the black community. It's also, it is really sad. And by the way, that 67% is far higher than the national average. And Chris Cuomo is like, I mean, you could tell that he knows that this whole thing has completely turned into an absolute and epic train wreck. But to try to dismiss the facts from the U.S. Census Bureau is just putting your head in the sand and not looking at a problem that needs to be solved. But that's what she was doing. And if she wants to lose her ever-loving mind over that, well, then that's fine. That is most certainly her right. But, you know, it is interesting because pointing out a number of different things for whatever reason, and I don't know why this is such a big deal, but there is a segment on CNN where Van Jones is actually now saying that the right is race-mongering in this light rail murder. And I don't really understand. Here's what I don't get. What I don't get is the Democrats, don't they bring race into everything?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, don't the Democrats, they bring race into literally everything. So now you have a black dude who kills a white woman, and then she's from Ukraine, and then he's leaving the train, and it is reported, and you can hear the audio. It's very faint, but you can hear the audio where he says that he got that white woman. That's what he said.
I've got the clip if you want to try and see if it'll carry.
You want to try it?
Yeah.
All right. Let's listen real quick and see if you can hear DeCarlos Brown Jr. after he murders that Ukrainian woman in cold blood. If we can hear it, go ahead. Yeah, I couldn't hear it.
I did.
You heard it?
I got that white girl.
Oh, okay.
I did not hear it.
I got that white girl.
All right. Well, that's what they're saying. That's what they're saying that he said, and Sam, you said you heard it. Okay. So now you've got Van Jones saying the right is trying to politicize this whole thing and also race-monger the light rail murder. And this, of course, was on Abby Phillips' show. Van Jones and a bunch of leftists accusing the Republicans of trying to race-monger the light rail murder.
Unfortunately, we don't have services that they used to have for mentally ill people in terms of dealing with them. And I think the problem here is, I'm guessing the Trump administration was looking for an example. This video was quite disturbing. You have the combination of social media at the same time blowing it up, and so it creates sort of the perfect storm to point to something.
Well, Donald Trump, what he said was that we have to handle the lunatics. That's what Donald Trump said. Now, for the record, that is not race-mongering this whole thing, because you can be black, white, red, green, yellow, or blue and be a lunatic.
Just like when Dukakis, when he was running for president, Lee Atwater took advantage of that one incident that was terrible, that was very troubling for voters once they called attention to it.
So certain people have been looking for an opportunity to find a case like this, to make a point like this. I want to play, this is Charlie Kirk, why he says this hasn't gotten a lot of attention.
All right, let's hear it.
A white Ukrainian refugee was murdered just because she was white. Everybody knows that, obviously. If a random white person simply walked up to and stabbed a nice, law-abiding black person for no reason, it would be an apocalyptically huge national story used to impose national sweeping political changes on the whole country. Instead, Megan Basham, no one seems to care when a white woman gets stabbed to the death.
Yeah, okay, so here's my question. Is that the next time a black person is killed by a white person, then can we say that the left, as they go, as Charlie Kirk said, as they go absolutely insane in their race-mongering coverage, can we then call the left race-mongering? I mean, that is what they do, obviously. We know that. But, I mean, I think Charlie Kirk is spot on. That is exactly what the left does. And so as we continue to cover this story, I think that it is really interesting how you do have the left who, I think part of what they're trying to do, what these folks are trying to do is they're trying to cover their own tracks because they didn't cover this thing. They chose not to cover it because it didn't, of course, fit their narrative. And that is part of what they do. So as this story continues to percolate, I think that we're going to see a lot of this kind of these kinds of protests from the left and from the mainstream media as well as the Democrats.
They were also the ones that perpetuated, really, I would say, started this whole rumor with Kyle Rittenhouse being a white supremacist, even though the people involved in his situation were all white.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I had forgotten all about that, but you're right. And this is obviously part of what they do. And the left is trying to very desperately, as best as they possibly can, try to take focus away from race. And listen, I'll be the first to say, okay, you know what? This guy, I think, obviously, probably mentally ill, but you also can't take away from the fact that he did say that what did he say? Took care of that white girl walking out?
I got that white girl.
Got that white girl. That is what he said. This is Jamie Raskin. Listen to this. Because what he tries to do as they're talking about this horrible stabbing in Charlotte, North Carolina on the light rail, this is what Jamie Raskin said. He goes all the way around and tries to tie it to January 6th.
We'll also get the chance with the new select subcommittee to examine the constantly growing criminal records of all of the violent felons and cop beaters and white nationalists who Donald Trump pardoned and released onto our streets on day one. And they've been picked up on all kinds of crimes. One from Virginia was engaged in burglarizing homes in the neighborhood where he lived.
So, I don't know. You know, the Democrats, I think, you know, I truly believe that they are a death cult. I mean, you're never going to be able to tell me anything differently, because for me, when I hear them constantly, and I mean constantly, and it drives me crazy, when I hear them constantly trying to excuse the murder and mayhem that is out there, then I can think of nothing more than to describe them as a death cult, because cold-blooded murder, it doesn't even move them. And that's the sad thing. It doesn't even move them. Stephen Miller from the Trump administration had this to say. And, you know, when you talk about the death cult that is the Democrat Party, I mean, obviously you bring up abortion. Obviously, and we did this yesterday, you bring up the fact that they don't seem moved by the murder of innocent people, whether it's at the hands of illegal aliens or, in this case, the cold-blooded murder of this woman on the train that they chose, the media and the Democrats, they tried to hide it. They didn't want to report it because it goes against every narrative that they have ever tried to sell the American people. And I think the American people are obviously wising up to all of this. This is Stephen Miller. He was on Fox News.
The Democrat Party, Sean, is terrorizing the American people. Just think about what is happening in our major cities, the bloodbaths every single weekend. One victim after another, one shooting after another, one murder after another. When you have Democrat politicians like Pritzker and Newsom that are freeing illegal alien pedophiles, illegal alien child abductors, illegal alien murderers back into our streets, to kidnap people, to beat them senseless, to stab them and shoot them to death, this is terrorism being waged against the American people. And then you look at that video that chills our very souls out of Charlotte, that beautiful young woman stabbed to death, murdered savagely on a subway, just trying to get home from work, fleeing war, only to run into a Democrat war zone here in our country. That monster, 14 prior arrests in and out, in and out.
Do you know one of the reasons, by the way, why he was out? He actually, because he was out, and this is what I'm going to ask Senator Marsha Blackburn about coming up, is he was out, cashless bail. The judge made him write a note saying that he would appear at his next court hearing. I guess it was supposed to be like either later this month or in October.
The same judge who's also the director of the Mental Health Institute in Charlotte that she sent him to for the first few times he was arrested?
Clearly they're working. Clearly it's an institute that really works.
I wonder if they get any state or federal funds.
Gee, I wonder. Apparently, Joan, I was the only person in Middle Tennessee that did not hear that killer say that he got the white girl.
Oh,
we played it, and the super text line, of course, blew up with people saying they heard it. Super text line.
I didn't hear it either, but
you know what the problem is, Joan?
We can play it again.
We're hard of hearing. We're old. And hard of hearing.
I'm old.
Yeah.
And I got the tinnitus, right?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So that constant ringing in my ear.
Yeah.
Hey Sam. When you're married, so just take it from an old married guy. So, like, if you ever want to try to ignore what your wife says, just tell her your tinnitus is really acting up. That's what I do.
It's the other
It's
way.
been a great excuse ever since COVID.
It's the other way around in my house. She can't hear me.
Conveniently can't hear you?
Are you here watching me wink? She can't hear you.
Uh-huh.
Well, she's, a very talented and busy businesswoman. So sometimes she's just got too much on her mind for
That's
me.
exactly right. Sounds like my wife. Anyway, so, but no, I couldn't hear it. Joan couldn't hear it. Everybody else could hear it, Joan, and we'll take y'all's word for it. The headline from the Washington Post and elsewhere, Meta suppressed studies that showed that VR could have a negative impact on kids. Now, they say that the social media company, which owns Facebook, Instagram, and offers a line of VR headsets and games, deleted or doctored internal safety research that showed children being exposed to grooming, sexual harassment, and violence. Senator Marsha Blackburn joins us on the Newsmaker Hotline. Senator, I know that this doesn't come as a shock to you, and you've got a subcommittee hearing today with a couple of whistleblowers, correct?
That is correct, and we have two whistleblowers that will be before my subcommittee today. And what we're looking at is what has happened with children and to children as they are using these virtual reality concepts. And we've learned is that Meta is fully aware that children cannot distinguish the difference between what happens to their avatar and what happens to them. So if the avatar is attacked, the child feels that they are being attacked, and this physiological and psychological response is the same. And our goal is to get some protections in place on these platforms, whether it's virtual reality, whether it is AI, whether it's the social media platforms, because the mental health of our children and grandchildren is paramount. And some of the stories that I'm hearing from parents whose children have been adversely impacted, or some of them even lost their lives, or children that have met pedophiles and predators and groomers in the virtual space. This has got to come to a stop. There are laws in the physical space that protect our children. In the virtual space, there are not.
Senator, in other news, you have introduced legislation to eliminate cashless bail policies across the country. I love this, and I know that you know that the guy that just killed that Ukrainian woman in Charlotte, North Carolina, was free because of cashless bail. So this is incredibly relevant. You are trying to stop this. You have introduced legislation. Do you believe that it'll pass?
I do think it's going to pass. And Elise Stefanik is carrying these bills in the House. We've got two bills. One ends cashless bail policies in D.C. The second and separate bill is one that restricts funding to local and state entities who practice cashless bail policies, and getting these on the books, ending these cashless bail policies. As you know, and we've all talked to so many law enforcement, when you have a cashless bail situation and you have prosecutors and judges that let these people go, they're back out on the street before the paperwork is finished. And indeed, you have situations like the one in North Carolina where this is someone who had a very long rap sheet, had served time. His mother had been in contact with law enforcement and was seeking help. She threw him out of the house, is very concerned about what he was going to do to others or to himself. And then you end up with this situation that is just absolutely heartbreaking.
So obviously everybody in Washington, D.C., Senator, is talking about the Epstein storyline. As far as your purview, if the House passes this legislation, it'll go to the Senate as well to compel the DOJ to release their Epstein materials. And so if it ultimately ends up going to the Senate for a vote. Will you vote for it? And do you believe that the Senate, the Justice Department will actually release the material?
I think that what you will see is A.G. Bondi has worked hard on this. President Trump has done more to protect women and children than any president in recent memory. We have all seen that good work. The House committee, my understanding, Dan, is that this is something they are doing as a House resolution and as a subpoena from the House committee. I don't think this is something that is going to come to the Senate. But what I do know is this, what I've worked on and the way I've gone after this information, and the Democrats have fought on it, is to find out who all was working with Jeffrey Epstein in this global sex trafficking, human trafficking ring. We understand that human trafficking now is about a $300 billion a year global business. This is modern day slavery, and we have got to put a stop to this.
It's got to be gratifying for you to finally see this sort of moving down the road, because you've been trying to get this information released for years. I mean, you've been one of the leaders to try to get this out into the open.
And, you know, I've been fought on that every step of the way, just like big tech and social media platforms have fought me every step of the way on protecting children. And I find it to be, it is just revolting to me that they continue to try to use children as a profit center on their platforms. They will not put in place protections for children and the exposure that is there. I mean, there are laws. You can't sell alcohol, tobacco to children. You can't expose them to pornography when you're in the physical space, and yet they are doing it 24/7, 365 in the virtual space. And every time we try to put guardrails in place to protect young ones, what they do is to say, well, that's a violation of free speech. And no, protecting children is not a violation of free speech. It's something that our society has decided long ago should be in place so that children are able to grow up healthy and dream those big dreams and find a way to make them come true.
Senator, I know that our time is limited, and I've only got time for one more brief question. I had Congressman John Rose on the other day, and he is asking for a debate for you regarding the governor's race. Do you plan on attending or taking part in any debates during this gubernatorial campaign?
Well, you know, Dan, there are now 3 candidates in the race, so there's going to be plenty of time for discussion of debates. We are just getting kicked off and started in this, but there's going to be plenty of time for that discussion. What we're doing right now is listening to Tennesseans and asking them what they want to hear discussed in this governor's race. And it is going great, and we're looking forward to continuing to hear from people all across the state. It's been encouraging. All
right, Senator Marsha Blackburn, we've hit your heart out by about 8 seconds, so thank you very much, and we'll talk again soon.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
7:45, Nashville's Morning News. Literally, my out time, you guys would be impressed. My out time was 7:45. We wrapped up at 7:44 and 52 seconds.
According to your clock.
Oh, was I early by is my clock off again?
Call her back.
Yeah.
Get that time
call her back.
her.
I want my 32 seconds left.
Well, good on you for being early.
I don't know. She's not committing to a debate. And, you know, before people start jumping all over the place about that, she is so far ahead in the polls. And this is politics 101. And we've talked about this before, Joan, where politics 101 is if you are leading in the polls, then there's no real reason for you to debate.
Yep.
So, I mean, I don't know what else to say about it other than I mean, if I were advising the senator, although I would love to see a debate, we would love to put on a debate like we did the other night for the folks in the 7th. I would love to do a debate with, Senator Blackburn and John Rose and Monty Fritz, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Could have all 4 hosts with pose questions and moderate as a group.
Oh, are you kidding? The candidates wouldn't get a chance to answer any questions because we'd all just be bloviating like we always do.
But the entertainment value, Dan.
She well-danned you.
You know what? Can I just say I don't know if she's right on that. I don't know. Because I triple checked that question about whether or not and listen, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I didn't get the question quite correct, but I thought that because I read a whole article about how John Thune was the Senate Majority Leader was thinking about blocking it. So I don't know, but maybe she's probably right. But she was gracious and she, didn't well-dan me, which is good.
She did well-dan you later.
She did?
Yeah, you want to hear it?
Yeah.
This is right after you asked about the debate.
Okay.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Well, Dan, there are now 3 candidates.
She did well-dan me. Doggone it. I missed it.
It wasn't like a well-dan, but I think she said, well.
She did.
Here, ready?
She well-danned me.
Let's do it again.
Well, Dan, there are.
Well, Dan.
Yeah, but that didn't feel nearly as aggressive as the previous well-dan that I got.
Yeah, she
was
went a little soft on you that time.
That was like, was that over a year ago? And that moment lives on in infamy on this radio station.
It was after, it's about a year because it was right when I got here.
Yeah, and I turned, and after the interview, I looked at, Johnny was here at the time, and I said, Johnny, did that get weird? Or something like that. It was so funny. It was, and believe it or not, that was one of my favorite moments for me, that was one of my favorite moments on WTN because it's not every day that you get well-danned by a senator, possibly soon to be governor. And if I ever, do you know what's going to be funny? If I ever get in a moment where I see the senator in person when I'm not actually talking to her on the radio, I'm going to ask her if she knows how that moment has lived in infamy on the radio station.
You should introduce it with, well, Marsha.
No.
Well, Senator.
Well, Senator.
Yeah, please.
Do you know what? I should. If I ever catch her in like some sort of a mistake, well, Senator.
Well, you definitely have more respect for her because we weren't playing the well-dan counting game like we did with Burchett and Dadgummits.
No. Tim Burchett and the Dadgummits. Yeah, I think, what the thing is, though? Congressman Tim Burchett, he's got such a great sense of humor. And I'm not saying that Senator Blackburn doesn't, but Tim Burchett has such a great sense of humor. I cannot imagine that he would take exception to us counting the Dadgummits.
It needs to be on a T-shirt, if I'm being honest.
A T-shirt?
I would wear a Tim Burchett Dadgummit T-shirt with him longboarding.
I think
take that, turn it into a cartoon of him longboarding through the Capitol.
Yeah, that would be funny. And he got a lot of play on that. He said he got hundreds of thousands of interactions or whatever you call them, millions of reactions when he was longboarding through the Capitol.
Which now he can do with even less threat of someone trying to knock him off and steal his board because DC's safe again.
Sure, but you never really know where Rashida Tlaib or Ilhan Omar are.
Oh, man.
They could toss out one of those cafes and lock the wheels up.
They could. Push them right off that longboard. Gavin Newsom has now said that Donald Trump is one of the most unpopular presidents in U.S. history. Do you know what's so funny about that? Now, if you, and I'm not going to, do I have time? No, I don't. Let me play this real quick. Because remember, I cannot wait. John Tigan, otherwise known as Tig in the world of the military, he is going to be joining us at 8:05, and I'm really looking forward to this. He's involved in the Charlie Daniels Journey Home Project that is coming up. That dinner, the Patriots dinner, is this coming Thursday, September 11th. And if you want to go, I've been there. This is going to be, I think, my 3rd or 4th year going to this incredible dinner. Get your tickets, jhp.givesmart.com. It is a great event. It is the Charlie Daniels Patriot Awards dinner. You hear all kinds of great stories. You meet all kinds of incredible people. One incredible individual that's going to be there is a guy named Matt Murphy. He's going to be there, and I'm going to be there too. So if you want to come hang out with us and join in the fun, charliedanielsproject.org is the website to find out more information on that. jhp.givesmart.com. That is where you can get tickets. This is Gavin Newsom talking about Donald Trump.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. That's what it is.
I knew he had nothing to say.
Do you know what? That's Gavin Newsom. He's got nothing to say.
Yeah.
You know what? Just like California, my computer is circling the drain. Do you like that, Joan?
Yeah.
Maybe at some point, if my computer comes back, I will play that audio maybe at 8:35. You know what I'm doing, Joan? You people that are watching me on the super text line, do you know what I'm doing?
What are you doing?
I am videoing the circle of death that I got when I tried to play audio right on the air.
Yeah.
And I'm going to send it to the IT people.
Yeah, well, good luck with that.
You think I'll get in trouble for that?
I don't
because that is kind of
trouble, but
that is aggressive. I don't know if that's passive aggressive or aggressive.
Prepare to be ignored.
But you know what? When you're sitting here and you're trying to do a radio show and the computer just completely, what's on you. Anyway, appreciate you being here. Despite whatever Gavin Newsom said about Donald Trump being unpopular or one of the most unpopular presidents in history, I don't know exactly what he said because it's not working on my computer, but Donald Trump is by far, and listen, there's things that Trump has done that I don't like. I'm not sitting here just, doing whatever, praising Donald Trump all the time. I realize the man has made, in my opinion, some mistakes. But that being said, I think you could say that he, at the very least, is one of the most popular Republican presidents ever, right? So Donald Trump is incredibly popular within the Republican Party. It's just the Democrats hate him so much that makes him, and I'm going to air quote this, unpopular because he's not getting any Democrat support. And you know what the thing is? For me, I think that's just okay. Because I think personally that says more about the Democrat Party than it does about, Donald Trump. Because if the Democrats cannot get behind, closed borders and getting rid of illegal alien criminals and the rest of the things that Donald Trump is trying to do, trying to save lives in American cities by sending in the National Guard. If Democrats or anybody doesn't like Donald Trump, well, that's more of a reflection, in my opinion, on them than it is about Donald Trump. Because Trump, he's just basically talking about common sense.